This is Eric Rutan of Cannibal Corpse. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast with Andrew McKay Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. My guest in this installment of the show is none other than, in my opinion, one of the greatest extreme metal producers of all time, Peter Tägtgren. The catalyst for the conversation has nothing to do with his production, although that, of course, didn't stop me from talking all about it. The catalyst is due to the release of a new Hypocrisy album, the first one in many years. It's called Worship. So, of course, we cover Worship, but a conversation with Pete is not complete unless we're talking about his stellar production credits, so expect a whole heap of banter about that subject. So here he is, Peter Tägtgren.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Hey, brother, how's things?
It's great. How are you?
Good, you're sideways. Can you put the phone the other way, or doesn't it work the other way?
Ooh, it works.
There we go.
Wait, 1 second. Let me get it down a little bit. Something like this?
It looks perfect. You're a Picasso painting right there.
Yeah.
How have you been? How's the Zoom calls been going?
It's been going good. I mean, it's good with technology, you know? You get a little closer to everybody, I would say.
That you do. Yeah, I've been doing this for some time now, and I've been here for the transition from Skype to Zoom, through 2000 and, when the COVID things happened. And the Zoom thing puts the onus more onto video, doesn't it? As opposed to just having the conversation over the phone.
I think so too. It makes a little bit difference when it comes to, for the fans and everything to see real life and not just reading about it. You can't deny anything you say anymore. So.
So true, mate. So true for so many of us. I know, especially in 2021 when people have got all this bloody time on their hands, when we're all working from home and you guys can't tour and do the things that you've been doing for, in your case, decades at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a very strange time to be alive, but there is an upside because we have a new album from Hypocrisy. Look, Worship. So let's get stuck into things because it is the first album for you in about 8 years, I think it is, or 7 years.
Time flies when you're busy.
It does fly. Yeah, I'm going to mention how busy you are in the moment, but it is the band's 13th studio album. And look, I'm an old fan, I must confess. I go back to Abducted. So maybe not old, but, I'm 43. So for me, I heard you guys on those Nuclear Blast compilations. Death is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Thank God for them, because kids now would never understand it with Spotify. Everything in the world is at their fingertips. But back in those days, you used to have to buy CDs. And,
exactly.
And thank God that you've been with Nuclear Blast or thereabouts through the entire time, for 30 years or something like that. So it's been a good home for you.
Yeah, we got a good understanding, and I'm getting spoiled, When I don't get what I want, I'll become a baby and start crying, and then I get what I want.
But they do.
I mean,
it's good for. Sorry to interrupt, mate. Sorry to interrupt. You go.
It's okay. I'm just saying. So it's been a good home, for sure.
I think it's a great home for you, but they do, and it's good for people like me. But they do put the artist on the treadmill on these Zoom things, don't they? You've just got to do days and weeks of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to me. I could say I'm not doing any interviews. Fuck you, But that's not why I'm here. So my point is that I want to talk to people about the album. It's different when you feel like you have to, then it's not fun. But when you want to, then it makes a big difference.
And look, it's a fantastic album. But look, to be honest with you, Peter, I don't think you've had a bad album in your catalogue. And I'm an old fan. Okay, so I've been with you that entire time. Hypocrisy, especially.
I don't know. There's some weird songs here and there, and it's just a moment of how you felt at the moment. Put it that way, when you write music.
You've always had such a killer guitar tone that you've lent to other bands as well. And I think that's the reason I've loved your music is that guitar tone.
Oh, thank you. I don't know. I just try to make the best out of it.
Yeah, I mean, look. Since end of disclosure in 2013, this is where we'll talk about how busy you are. Okay, you've been credited with production on a heap of albums from pretty big names as well, like not small bands here. We're talking about Sabaton, God Bless Alexi, in Children of the Bottom, Discharge.
Yeah.
You did their comeback, I suppose you'd call it. Karash Angren.
Yeah.
I always get the name of that band pronounce it incorrectly. But you've had your own projects, certainly collaborations with Lindemann. Definitely Pain's your vehicle. I know that. But the other one for me was, and I hate to make this about myself, but the Immortal album was just fantastic that you did with Demons.
Yeah.
Unreal. And you played bass on that.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to. I mean, they didn't have a bass player, and I said, like, I'll just do it. Let's just not involve any more people, and try to get a good album first, and then you can get a bass player and go out and play. But let's just make it easy. It's easier for me than for them to sit down with the bass player and have them to learn the songs, you know. So I just said, I'll do it myself. Don't worry about it.
I'll ask a question about the experience on that album later, but I guess my overall point would be to what we've already described. You're hardly short of opportunities, so why is now the right time to be bringing Hypocrisy back into light?
That's a good question. I don't know. It goes in waves for me. The interests of the bands I'm involved in, you know, like Pain and Hypocrisy. Lindemann is no more, as you know. But it goes in waves, how hungry you are for each project that you do. So I wasn't hungry for a while for writing riffs for Hypocrisy. It didn't come about until, was it 2017 or 18, when me and my son were doing this father-son project, started writing music together, and we had like 11 songs, and then we were like, yeah, fuck it, let's do something else. So that kept me going with the more extreme music writing. You know, it gave me a bloody tooth. So I just kept on writing after that. And of course, it's been busy before that. We did Hypocrisy, did I don't know how many European tours in between these two albums, and American tours, and we even went to Australia finally, and up to Japan. So that's just Hypocrisy. And then you have Pain, who did a lot of shit too. You know, American tours, European tours, Eastern tours like Russian tours, and we've been everywhere. And the same shit with Lindemann, and plus albums to make with these bands. You know, time flies when you are in the I don't know what to say, in the trance of making music.
Yeah. You're one of those people, though, that you're one of the few people in life that I truly believe has found your calling in life, meaning that I don't believe you were put here to do anything else. Feel free to disagree, but you are so good at what you're doing with the production side of things. You've since 2001 and even before, but I'm just talking about, there's a Peter Tägtgren sound out there these days. And last time we had a chat, we spoke about your impact and the work you did with Celtic Frost, which I believe is completely overlooked, which is sad. The work you did there was just amazing. You know, there's so many questions I've got to ask you this time around, and I'm going to run out of time. I know that, because I've probably only got another 20 minutes or something like that. But
I guess.
You know, it's just you're one of those guys that when I talk to people about extreme metal being imbued with a sense of quality, I talk about the work that you've done and all of the bands that you've been a part of, and Hypocrisy is a massive part of that. You know, so I hope people are giving you that feedback on these rounds in support of this album.
Yeah, I mean, I've been very fortunate to been able to work with all these bands, you know, that influenced me. Like Possessed, I did their comeback. I did the Destruction comeback, Celtic Frost, and also mixed, a bunch of bands over the last 10, 15 years, that really meant a lot to me in the past. Discharged, it was one of the beginners of two beats and stuff,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It was a big influence as well, that that people calls me and ask me if I can help them out with albums and stuff. I'm really happy that people are still calling, put it that way.
And I think they'll continue to call, but I'd love to continue just to talk about this for a moment more, which is that has there been a sliding doors moment where an Avril Lavigne or somebody like that has reached out to you? Because surely someone's put the feelers out in that regard.
Who?
Avril Lavigne. Like that massive pop star level.
Yeah. No. Not really. Maybe they're too afraid of me.
That's crazy.
No, not really. I mean, I think it's mainly the underground bands that contacts me and stuff. So,
yeah, look, I did this with Jeff Walker where I was talking about how important and how big Carcass were, and he basically said, "What the hell are you talking about?" So I understand from your perspective, you've got one view, but from my view and the impact you've had, not just on my life, but on the music that I listen to and that I love, I can see the impact that you've had individually. And how important you've been. I suppose that's just an individual perspective that we all take as music fans on things, and then we start to sort of extrapolate it and say, hang on, how come other people don't find this person as important as I do?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it's personal opinions, I guess. I don't know. I've been working with a lot of bands, and I've been very fortunate to do that through 25 years or even more. Getting these bands in the studio that was really nothing before. And it's so great to see their journey going on and how they grow. I remember the first band was like Dimmu Borgir in 96, and I had never even heard of them. And all suddenly, after we were done with the album, we stay in contact. I stay in contact with most of the bands. And you see how it grows and how it becomes something unique. And it's great to be in a part of that, to help them out to reach the world.
Have you ever been a part of something that you'd broadly describe as a failure?
Nothing really that comes in my mind right now, but I mean, not all the bands and artists that I record has this fortune to expand through the world, so it's how it is. It's like a lottery. Why is this band big and why is not that band big?
Yeah.
You will never find out, or nobody knows. It's just when it happens, and that's how it is.
What happened with Lindemann?
I mean, we did 2 albums, we did tour, we proved our point, and that's it.
Are yourself and Till still mates?
Not really, but it doesn't matter. So just to keep it short and concede, like, we did something major, and he left rings on the water, so to say. So I'm proud of it. I was happy. We were really productive when we were working together. There's nothing like me and him when we start doing shit. We're spitting out left and right, and we can just sit and talk about things like, it would be cool to do like this, and then 10 minutes later we have it.
Talking about working with legends in extreme metal, I mean, the 2 guys, I'm not going to say they invented it. Plenty of people were there at the genesis, but they're certainly some of the most prominent names. Martin Eric Ain and Tom G. Warrior.
Yeah.
We did talk about this at length the last time we chatted. I'd never expect you to remember these things because you do so many interviews, but I've got a different question for you this time around, which was that I know it was a challenging recording experience because there's a lot of pressure on you to deliver. But what was the dynamic like between those 2 guys?
I think it was good at that time. I didn't really see any rocky moments or anything like that. It's just like a normal band. There's 3 guys in the band or 4 guys or 5 or whatever, they all have their own opinions about things, and I'm supposed to be in the middle trying to solve things. So it was pretty normal. I mean, the guys were very prepared. They did pre-productions before that, so they really knew what they were getting into, I would say.
Yeah. It's an album that continues to confound. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a masterpiece for me. They put in so much effort on the pre-productions and stuff like that we could still use. And for me, as a Hellhammer / Celtic Frost fan since, I don't know, 84 or something like that, it was it was a great moment. It was the same thing when I worked with Possessed. I grew up with that also, 85, 86. So it was also a dream come true. Same with Destruction, to be able to work with them in the end of 90s. All of these things were great because these were the people that influenced me to do what I'm doing. So,
in your opinion, is Possessed the first ever death metal band? Not that it matters, these arguments, but I mean, you've recorded with them, so what are your thoughts?
Arguments. I don't know, but I definitely know that Chuck from Death was a huge fan of Jeff, and some people say Scream Bloody Gore was the first death metal album. So that was a couple of years after Possessed. So I don't know. I would say without Possessed, things might be different today.
Yeah, I'd say without both, things would be very different. There's no doubt.
Yeah. I mean, all these bands that came out early 80s, there's a lot of them are still around and still kicking ass,
Well, you helped Jeff and the lads deliver it. Jeff actually told me that the guitars were recorded in one take or one session. Yeah. I think he might have said, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were very precise on the sounds and stuff, and it was just to hit the rec button and to get the musicians to really get the flow and the feeling. And it's more about to get the feeling in there than to play correct sometimes. But I mean, there's an amazing musician in that band now, and it was a pure vacation for me to just sit and record it.
Did Jeff say anything to you that surprised you?
I don't know. Jeff is a deep guy. He has a lot of thoughts. He's like me. He's everywhere. I heard some old stories, from touring and stuff in the 80s, and wow, I wish I was old enough to be there then.
The only thing I thought the album was lacking, not that it wasn't a great album, by the way, was Larry Lalonde.
Yeah, but I mean, all these guys went different ways, I guess, all of them. And so I guess just was the only one who wanted to bring it back and also to do something creative with it. So I'm just happy that something happened.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. Have you got a career highlight so far?
Not
something that really stands
really.
out.
I don't care about my career. I just live for the day. I'm happy that people appreciate my music when I release it, that people listen to it. That's all I can ask for. And I just live day by day, so to put. I don't look back. I don't look forward. So.
Yeah. Have you had any production opportunities offered to you of late that you can talk about?
Nothing really. Anything that raised my eyebrows, is to be honest. If I'm gonna produce bands, it's got to be something that will make me excited. Because if I'm not excited, it's really hard to do the best you can. So. For me, it's very important to always be motivated and really into what I do. Otherwise, it's going to be half good, I think.
You were 1/4 or 1/5 of the War Machine in 1996, playing alongside of B. War, one of the greatest bass players and most overlooked in metal by far. What was it like playing with him?
You mean with Marduk?
Yeah, Marduk, sorry. Yeah, yep.
Yeah. It was great. I mean, we became friends in early 90s, and they weren't really happy with the music and the sound itself, what they had. And I don't know if it was Mark themselves that contacted me, or if it was Dan Svano who did it, who was the producer for the previous ones. He gave me a lot of bands. He gave me also Dark Funeral, and I mean, me and him stayed friends for a long time. We're still good friends. We keep in touch, So for me, it was great to do that band, because I really loved the two first albums with Marduk. I was a big fan, but I didn't know the guys. They lived 4 hours from me, so it's not really far away. But I never had any chance to talk about if they wanted to come and record. It just happened somehow. I can't really remember exactly how. And after that, the recording of Heaven Shall Burn, we became very tight together. And they asked me if I wanted to jump in as a second guitarist, because the way we produced the album, it was meant to be for two guitar players, kind of. So, and they had two guitarists before, but they said like, oh, we don't want to bring in another member. It just messes up things sometimes. And I know the feeling. That's why we try to keep Hypocrisy 3-piece, and then hire some people to help us out. So I went out on this tour with them, and it was fun to not be the singer, first of all, and not be in your band. You had a different kind of pressure on you. Play right and give everything,
Be War, though, what was it like recording him? Because I've heard some, I wouldn't call them isolated tracks, but some live material where you can truly, it's been recorded in front of him. So it's in front of his bass cab. I mean, he does like 2 or 3 musicians' job, in my opinion. So did you find that?
Oh, he's everywhere on the notes. Let me tell you. He's more like a guitarist playing bass, kind of like Geezer Butler. He was a guitarist as well, but nobody wanted to play bass, so he had to. So, I mean, he makes the bass playing very interesting, I think.
Northern Chaos Gods, the question that I asked you up top there about playing the bass on that album. I had a good chat to Demonaz about it when it came out, and I know he was thrilled, by the way. Not that he would put it in so many words, but was it like that for you, though? Was it an experience that was very positive for you?
Definitely, in many ways. First of all, they don't have to get a new bass player, because I can't remember his name now. He was not in the band anymore. Isaac Araya
or something like that, yeah.
So, I mean, I said just save yourself mentally. I will do the bass. You don't have to worry about it. Just send over the songs, and I'll figure it out myself. And then after that, you can go out and find a bass player, So it was more in that kind of vein that, we're going to have to stop and wait for them to show a bass player what to play and blah, blah, blah. So I just said, I'll do it myself. It's easier, faster.
Yeah, indeed. Hey, I'll just do a time check. Have we got 5 more minutes or a bit longer?
I don't even know what the time is. I got one. I start in 5 minutes.
5 minutes, bummer. Never enough time. Bummer. All right.
I know. I don't know who's booking this shit,
Look, it's always great to have these opportunities, but as I say, the last time I spoke to you was 2018, so no doubt the next one will be 2025 or something. So, but I'll come full circle and we'll talk about this album, because that's exactly the catalyst for the conversation. But look, in July 23rd, there was a story that ran in papers citing a defense contractor from the Pentagon who said that the US Department of Defense may be in possession of off-world vehicles not of this earth. So they're basically acknowledging aliens exist, and I think you've tapped into some of that once again with your lyrics.
Yeah, yawning. It's, nothing special, because they are not telling you everything you want to hear. They just give you a little piece of things. As you see on the cover, that's my kind of view of what it is. I think we were planted on this earth thousands and thousands of years ago. Like Mayan people disappeared like that, without a trace. Where the hell did they go? Underground, maybe? There's theories about, there's a lot of, like the earth is like a honeycomb filled with different compartments everywhere where civilizations are living. that's one thing. Another thing is like they pop in and out of different dimensions once in a while to check on us. And I think we're just a big experiment. I always say this, and I said it for 30 years, that we are a huge experiment, and they try to keep us numbed down to not become too smart to figure out things ourselves. And I think one of the things that happened over the last 150, 200 years is that they enhanced our DNA, so we got a little smarter. Because if you see what happened over the 150 years, all suddenly the technology and everything around just developed like a rocket out of nowhere from being 60,000 years of humanity just eating dirt and rocks, kind of, you know. So I think something really happened there, but I don't think they want us to be too smart so we can get outside of our comfort zone, Earth, you know, because then we'll probably fuck up the rest of the universe.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's see if they're coming back to collect us and beat the fuck out of us because we're so stupid.
Some of us, I hope they do, mate. There's no doubt about that. We're surrounded by fucking morons these days. It's ridiculous, and social media just proves it.
Yeah, they're not even better. They're even worse than the politicians because they follow the lead on them. So, yeah, that's what you have in Green Bastard and Dead World song, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've listened to the album a couple of times, and because I'm a musician, so I hyper-focus on the musical performance, I must confess. But the lyrics, your lyrics have always been very insightful, especially for a Scandinavian metal band. Not that I think Scandinavia is the epicenter of great heavy metal, by the way, so that's not a negative comment whatsoever. But I think you were the first one and maybe the only one to be talking about this sort of subjects.
I mean, 96 when we did Roswell 47, people were like, well, what the hell is Roswell?
Yeah.
But, you know, nowadays everybody knows about it. I don't know. It's just a hobby I had since I was a kid, collecting information about things, you know, like, you know, Black Ops and a lot of different things that maybe not reaches out to the normal media. You know, it's a little hobby I have, you know, and I gather all my thoughts about what I think is and things like that. So it's just from my perspective. You know, the Chemical Horror, I wrote like almost 2 years before the COVID came out. So it's just my thoughts and my feelings, how I see the world.
Final question for you. If you have one album in your career and someone said to you, Peter, I've just met you, which album should I listen to? Which one would it be?
Oh, God. I have no clue. No idea at all. Put on the new Hypocrisy then.
Exactly.
Brother, I mean, it feels fresh now. So I don't know. If you asked me 8 years ago, maybe I said End of Disclosure or something else. But right now I feel it's pretty scary with the lyrics, you know, when you wrote them 2 years ago and things are coming up now and you see like, oh, maybe I'm right. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you tapped into something. For what it's worth, I love your 1999 self-titled album. I know it's not the fans' favourite. I get that, but it's an album that I listened to front to back many times and still adore, I must confess.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. That's it, mate. Gosh almighty, I've got a list of about 30 more questions I'll probably never get to ask, but I'll save them for the next one, mate. So thank you for the music that you've made.
Just tell them you want to do an upgrade. And I'll hook you up.
I'll tell John.
30 minutes, you know.
Yeah, I'll see what we can do, mate. Yeah. So, but look, if we don't, thank you so much for the music that you've made and your contribution to heavy metal overall. You're one of the guys. Seriously, you are one of the guys. So, please keep on doing it. Yeah.
Oh, I will. I have nothing else I can do. So this is my call. I guess I was set on earth to write music for people, I guess.
I absolutely agree with that. Yeah. Enjoy the Zoomers, mate. Well done on the album as well.
Yeah. And I hope to come down as soon as things get back to normal, you know?
Mate, I need to see Hypocrisy. Simple as that. Yeah. You know, I know you've come down here with other groups, but Hypocrisy is the one for me because you can tell. So,
we will be down here. I mean, we were in Australia in 2018 or 2019. I can't remember, for
18,
the first time. So
yeah.
now we got the connection. So watch out. As soon as everything is back to some kind of normal day, you can start booking shit. Then we will be right there.
Yeah. Try and get, is it Hori or Horror from Immortal too on drums too? Killer, you guys are a killer pair. Hog, you guys are a killer pair.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. Enjoy.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for your support, man. Have a good one.
No worries, brother. I think I said throughout the chat that I have spoken to Pete beforehand, and he was just as good the second time around, I've got to say. Probably a little bit more to the point than what he was during my first conversation with him, but a stellar conversation nonetheless. Do check out the new Hypocrisy album. It is high quality, but then, in my opinion, just about everything Pete has been associated with is as well. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and I'm the host of the Scars and Guitars podcast series. If you like what you heard, go across to scarsandguitars.com, where there are many more conversations with the leading lights from hard rock, heavy metal, extreme metal, and beyond, posted for your listening pleasure. That's it for now. Oh, yeah. If you could like, subscribe, and share and all that bullshit, I'd appreciate it. It does help, believe it or not. I don't like asking for it because everybody bloody asks for it, but if I don't ask, you don't know that will help out. So there you go. That's it for another installment of the show. Until next time, it is goodbye for now.